the spiritual path and the higher consciousness and higher energy levels. Okay, so the way I like to describe this one is, say just outside Sydney we've got the Blue Mountains and there's a giant staircase there. So it's like 1,000 odd stairs. So it's absolutely beautiful, but if you're going to take on 1,000 stairs, you're just going to go and do it. Well, it's good and confident, like it, but you might have to do a few things on the way. You know, you might need some preparation. You might want to stretch and warm up when you get there. You might need to take some supplies. There's some organization. If you're taking a friend or a guide along, fantastic. If you're going to do it yourself, great. You might just want to tell someone, right? Just little things. But as you're going along, you might need some water. Well, how about put a magnesium rehydration formula in there so the muscles and everything are working good. Along the way, you might find some people who can share the journey with you for a little. Cool, always nice to chat, learning and growing from each other. You might leave some behind because they're stuck down at level 100. They're physically, and therefore nervous system, tells them that they're unable to continue. You might have to ditch them and then go, well, do this. If you want to come up here, you're welcome to, but you can't force someone up 1,000 stairs or any stairs. It's up to them, isn't it? And as you learn and grow, you'll realize that you start to leave more and more people behind because their body is simply incapable of doing it. So you might get to, say, level 250 and then struggle for a little bit because you weren't quite aware of the level of power and strength that is required to handle those energies to get to the top. So there might be some resting and relaxing. You might need to stretch, you might need to, we need to crack the back a little bit. And then see if you can continue on. Yoga is amazing for this. You might need to power on, get to level 300, sit down and have a bit of a rest. See if there's old people there, but with all those chairs that are on the path. Then as we get higher and higher, the view gets more and more beautiful. Absolutely it does. But of course, it takes more effort to continue to keep going. It takes some drive, some ambition, some discipline, and what I call get it done ability. Because unless you have these things, you're not going to get to the top. Simply you're going to cognitive dissonance it away and make up an excuse. Oh no, I couldn't do it because I had a sore knee. You could have kept going, you could have trained better, you could have put some deep heat or some sort of magnesium rub on there. Oh, you didn't know about that. Yeah, pretty handy. So it's a bit of a mystery. We never really know what step and what's going to come up at that next step. It might be a different foot placing. You might have to move and adapt the body to get up to them. And of course, at each level, there is something you'll have to leave behind. Okay? But we have to accept that. Otherwise, we'll just get stuck in a certain level of the stairs. We won't get the beautiful views and the energies and the emotions and the perception and the feelings that are available with the higher centers and the higher stairs. They're attractive, I can tell you. They're really cool. It's always more. That's the best part. And of course, at each level, there are understandings. So we may have to drop some of the education that we've been told in the system, or that a friend told us, or some sort of opinion. That doesn't count. You may have to leave that to gain more knowledge and more consciousness and more experience. And of course, the best ways I've found for that is to study esoteric or ancient wisdom, because that's been designed vibrationally. So the best way, if there's new information coming in and out, and it's hard to perceive what's right and what's wrong, it's duality, it's complete garbage, throw that out, and then rank it vibrationally. But you'll only really understand as you grow yourself. Because I've had so many chips and changes and things in my understandings of one thing. And of course, so we're going up here. We're at 400. We're going well. Guess what? There's not as many people here, but the people who are here are quality people who have done the work. They've got the experience. They know what it takes to get through those things. And they've learned and studied and grown and experienced lots of different modalities, lots of different options for growth that work well for them. This is the time when you want to ask good people and action their suggestions, because it's coming through them as it's been filtered by their experience and wisdom and knowledge and growth to be shared with you. Guess what? If I get people at a high level and they go, Gray, you need to go get Trifla, or Shilajit will really help you. Guess what? It gets done as soon as practically possible. Because it didn't come through them. They come through their experience and it worked well, and I'm going to go, yes, please, I'm going to have a go at that. Fantastic. And then, of course, coming up higher and higher and higher, there is more levels of subtle information. Because there's more oxygen in the environment, there's more consciousness or prana that can travel through it. But of course, we need to have our body strong enough to be able to perceive that. Because if we're going up to 500 now, and it's like, wow, that's like information that no one else knows about. You have to have the strength to stand there and go, yep, this is universal truth, this is how it is. Whether the people believe you or they whinge and sook or do whatever resistance, that's their choice. It's not really their choice, but it's their level of vibrational understanding. And if they're not willing to learn and grow, you can stay at that level. I'm going up. If you want to stay there, well, hey, could you give me your water? Have you got a snack that you're not using? Because that will help me to continue on. It's an energy exchange. Why not? And of course, then you can start to see, once you're at, say, 500-600, you can see the levels that everyone else is at. It's quite easy. So if someone's at 100, well, you've been there. You're hopefully well above that from the start. So you can say, well, for the next step, you need to drink this, take this, maybe do this meditation, or go and see these people. Or go and get some chiro treatment. Whatever it is for them. Always good suggestion. Whether they do it, whether they need a hand or a kick up the bum, depends on the resistance and how much critters and imbalances the person has in their body. And because there's a potential difference of, say you're an hour at 700 and they've got them up to 200, there's still a vibrational difference of 500. So they're not going to understand the consciousness or the information coming from you. They can only understand it at 200. They may try to open their mind, and hopefully they are open-minded to learn and grow. That would be fantastic, but it's not always the case. So sometimes they just have to sit there and keep doing what they're doing, and that's how it is. Because if you want to learn and grow, we're going up to 800 now. Guess what? The level of consciousness and information that's coming through the body, if you're strong enough, especially in the foundation, then you're going to do it well. But if we get up to 800 and our body isn't clean enough and strong enough, it can break. You can easily get a hamstring strain, or wobble your ankle, and of course if you're on 1,000 stairs, you're at 800 and you wobble and roll your ankle, that's going to suck. That's going to sit with you and stick with you for a while until you fix it, not easy to fix, and get up there again. That's a whole lot of work. Yeah, it's not the most practical solution. But if we have a strong foundation, we have our brilliant practices that keep us expanding, slowly sometimes, but we know that we're on track and we're balancing ourselves, especially with the 5-element theory, we can get to the top. Say we get up to 1,000. We're at the top of the stairs. I can tell you, the view here is magnificent. Only beautiful words come out of your mouth and throw through your body. So you attract the same in others most of the time. But of course, you may get some cheeky bugger who's down there at 100 and 200 looking up at you going, "Oi, what are you doing up there?" Kind of trying to pull you down to his level. Well, That's not helping anyone. But in Australia, we call that the tall poppy syndrome. I call it whinging sookie victim. But the dude at 100 thinks he's great because he's a walking fungal puppet show, because his brain is completely controlled by the fungus and all the gunk in the brain from the bottom half of the body through the vagus nerve, and he thinks he's intelligent. Boot! You can go. And then up here at the top, the information that is flowing through you, the beautiful emotions and feelings, is absolutely outstanding. It's highly recommended. How about, where are you at? You want to go to the top? And then guess what? When you're at the top, you just go, what's this? I'm already up here. I don't have to do that again. It's wonderful. So, hopefully that made a few bits of sense and string things together for you. Giddy up.